From CareCredit, it's Care Experts, a podcast where we dive deep into the health and wellness industry with the professionals that make it happen. I'm Erin Treloar. Sunscreen. It's one of the simplest and best things you can do for your skin. We all know sunscreen is essential and should be used every day, but let's be honest, how many of us actually remember to apply it daily? Here's your wake-up call. Up to 90% of visible skin aging is caused by sun exposure. So today, we're calling in the big guns, Dr. Anthony Youn, board-certified plastic surgeon, New York Times best-selling author, and one of the most trusted names in skincare. You might recognize him from TikTok or YouTube, where he breaks down trends and myths and gives real, no-nonsense advice to help you keep your skin healthy. Whether you're acne prone, forget to reapply, or just trying to find a sunscreen that won't leave you greasy or ghostly, he's here to help you find your SPF soulmate. Hi, Dr. Youn. Welcome to the Care Experts podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
In this episode, we're going to break down everything that anyone would ever need to know about sunscreen. So to kick things off, I would love to just have a better understanding of why sunscreen is so important in our daily routine.
Well, one of the main agers of our skin and contributors to skin cancer is UV damage from the sun. All you need to do, honestly, is look at the skin of your chest and compare it to the skin of your butt to know that getting excess sun can really impact the quality of your skin. We even see people who, let's say, are truck drivers, and the left side of their face is more aged than the right side. The left hand has more age spots and is more aged than the right hand. And so it's really important for us to protect our skin, not only for the cosmetic reasons, which is what I typically, talk to my patients about and my followers, but also because skin cancer is a huge problem in our society. We think mostly of skin cancers as cancers that are like basal cell carcinomas that, may be disfiguring, but they're not going to kill you. But I tell you, my favorite singer of all time, Jimmy Buffett, died from a skin cancer not that long ago. And so it just, keeps to, was a reminder that it's so important to protect your skin.
What are some common signs of sun damage that people might not even be aware of or looking for?
Yeah, one very common sign of sun damage is actually spots. So they're called sunspots, they're called age spots, or even called liver spots. Although the reason why they're called liver spots is not that they have something to do with your liver, it's just that they're usually brown. And so when you get excessive sun exposure, it can cause the melanin of your skin, the pigment of your skin, to clump, creating these spots that are close to the surface. Cosmetically, some people don't like it because it causes them to have, let's say, an uneven color to their skin. And unfortunately, these spots don't go away unless you actively get rid of them, using creams or treatments.
So the biggest thing that we're looking for are those sun spots. Anything else that would show skin damage? I mean, for sure, when I was younger, I had a bad burn at some point back in the day when we used to go to tanning beds and put oil on ourselves. Any other markers that we should be looking out for?
Well, wrinkling is another sign of it. So our skin does get more wrinkled because the sun will actually damage the collagen in our skin and cause it to break down more quickly. Our collagen of our skin takes about 70 to 80% of the thickness of our skin. It's a part of our skin that causes our skin to feel tight and firm and honestly youthful. And we lose about 1 to 2% of the thickness of collagen every year, starting in our mid to late 20s. Getting excessive sun exposure can cause that collagen to even degrade more. So you can get skin that is more wrinkled, it's more crepey, and it can even get looser and looser as you get older too.
What would you say is the biggest mistake that people make in regards to sunscreen besides not using it every day?
The biggest mistake is honestly not using enough of it and not reapplying it. Those are the two big things because some people, they'll use sunscreen and they'll put it on and they just don't, you want to look at and actually at the bottle where it will tell you how much to actually apply. And most people don't apply enough. And then you also want to consider, especially if you're out in powerful sun, you do need to reapply it every 2 hours. And sometimes more often than that, if you're actually going in and out of water. So those are the two big things, because how many people do you know, they say, well, they come back from a vacation with a big burn. They say, well, I applied my sunscreen, but I still got burned. And it's because you didn't apply enough or you didn't apply it frequently enough.
All right, well, let's break that down a little bit further. When you are applying sunscreen to your body, is there a typical amount that you would want to be applying? You mentioned reading the bottle or looking at the label, but are there any general guidelines?
Not necessarily, because it just depends on the size of the person and how many areas that you're treating. So if you're just treating your arms, you're just treating your legs, and you don't have to apply nearly as much. And so that's why I do encourage people to look at the actual bottle where they will tell you how much to apply, whether it's 2 tablespoons or more. You want to make sure that you get full coverage, and just like I said, depends on how much is truly exposed. The other thing you need to consider is that clothing does act as an SPF. It does give you sun protection. There are actually some clothes out there that will give you more protection than others. And so if you're somebody who has, let's say, a lot of sun sensitivity, then getting some of these clothes that actually have a protection factor in them can also be helpful for people.
When it comes to sunscreen, do you have any hero sunscreen recommendations for different skin types, whether that's a darker skin tone or more oily or dry, sensitive skin?
So yeah, a couple of things to look out for first. So sunscreens here in the United States are separated into two categories. There are chemical sunscreens and physical sunblocks. Although technically sunblocks are also sunscreens, but in general that's one way to separate them. Chemical sunscreens are actual chemicals like avobenzone, oxybenzone, octinoxate that you can actually put on the surface of the skin. They will absorb through the skin, and then they undergo a chemical process to help protect your skin from the rays of the sun. So the sun's rays, the UV rays,
Mm.
will penetrate the skin, and that chemical sunscreen will absorb it and basically protect your skin from being damaged. Physical sun blocks are zinc oxide and titanium dioxide. These will sit on the surface of your skin. They don't necessarily absorb into your skin, but they sit on the surface, and they will physically block those rays from getting through the skin. The old-fashioned type of zinc oxide is that white paste that lifeguards used to wear on their nose, and some of them still
Mhm.
do in the summertime. Technically, diaper rash cream is zinc oxide. It's thick, it's white. Now they make it so that it is micronized, so that sunscreen, that sunblock, that physical sunblock is lighter. But the problem with it is it still can create kind of a whitish hue on the skin. So if
Mm.
you are, let's say, African American, if you're Latino, if you're Asian, and you've got darker skin, you may find that applying these physical sunblocks on your skin can discolor your skin and give you kind of a whitish hue. In that situation, you want to go more with the chemical sunscreens because it's not going to discolor your skin. There are some concerns that the chemical sunscreens can absorb into your actual blood supply, and so
Mhm.
because of those concerns, there are two that some people that are kind of controversial: oxybenzone and octinoxate. Those are chemical sunscreens used very commonly. Some doctors and health professionals consider them to be potential hormone disruptors, and so because of that, if you're going to put sunblock on your kids, ideally go with the physical sunblock because you 100% know that that's not going to get absorbed into their body.
Okay, well, this leads right into my next question, which is, are clean or reef safe sunscreens better for you than a chemical sunscreen?
So that comes from the oxybenzone and octinoxate, those same two ingredients, which are very popular. We know that they're great at blocking the sun, not blocking, but chemically basically blocking the sun's rays, neutralizing them. They're very commonly used, but they're the ones that are controversial in that some, once again, health experts are concerned about their hormone disrupting effects, that they could mimic hormone like estrogen in the
Mhm.
body. The other thing is that there's a belief that they may contribute to damage to the coral reefs. And so there are some locations with coral reefs where they actually have outlawed the use of those types of sunscreens. So in general, those are ones just because of that. If you're going to go on a vacation into the Caribbean or out to Hawaii or something like that, then ideally you want to avoid those because they may not let you use them anyway. And like I said, I
Mhm.
think with the children, especially where you always want to use as clean of a product as possible, then going with the physical sunblock uh, is ideal for them. The other thing, as an adult, especially with darker skin, you may not like that whitish hue on your skin, but kids don't
Mhm.
care. If they're at the beach and they've got sunblock and it's caused their skin to look a little whiter, they usually don't care. They're just happy to be running around in the sun and in the water.
What are your thoughts on SPFs in moisturizers or makeup? There's so much makeup coming out now that has SPF built into it.
Yeah, a lot of people are using mineral makeup and that has mineral sunblocks in it. And I think that's
Mhm.
great. I think what you have to keep in mind though is that usually the amount of protection that you get from that moisturizer, from that makeup is not necessarily the same as what you would get by actually applying a sunscreen to your skin. So, if you're wearing that and you're in a regular day, let's say you work inside an office, and so the only time you're really getting sun is when you're going in and out of your car and stuff like that, then that probably
Mhm.
is sufficient. But if you're going to go on a vacation, especially you're going to be outside a lot, then I don't think that that's going to be sufficient. In those situations, you do want to take that extra step of actually applying the sunscreen.
Okay, great. One thing that I have heard people talking about is the order in which you apply sunscreen and asking whether or not essentially it matters. If you're somebody who wears makeup, is it important to apply the sunscreen before the makeup or does it really matter?
Well, you do want to apply it because the makeup, if you apply it over makeup, a lot of times it's going to smudge your makeup anyway. But really, I think this brings up more of the broader question of what's the order that you apply your creams on in general. And there are two
Mhm.
rules that you want to follow. The first rule is you want to apply active versus inactive. Okay. And what we mean by that is let's say your skincare routine is a cleanser, is a vitamin C serum, and then a moisturizer and a sunscreen. So you'll want to cleanse first because you got to cleanse your skin first. Then the active in that group is going to be the vitamin C serum. So you want to apply that next because
Mm,
you want to get the best penetration of that. And then after that, you would apply the moisturizer, and then usually the sunscreen is last, and then makeup goes
mm,
after that. Same thing at night. Like, let's say at night you're using two different moisturizers. You're using a moisturizer with retinol in it, and you're using one that is a heavier night cream to because you have real dry skin. Well, once again, you want to apply the active and then the inactive because you don't want to apply like an inactive moisturizer and then put retinol on top of that because then that retinol most likely will have a barrier to it getting into your
right.
skin. So that's the first rule is active to inactive. Second rule is light to heavy. So you want to apply serums before you apply lotions, before you apply creams, before you apply things like ointments, which are heavier. Okay. So light to heavy, active to inactive.
Amazing. Okay, so we're sold on wearing our daily sunscreen. Now we've got to integrate it into our daily routine. Any tips to support somebody who is wanting to add sunscreen in and actually wanting to remember to do it?
Yeah, I mean, I think what you want to do is find a sunscreen. If you're talking about your face, because a lot of times our bodies are pretty well
Yeah.
covered, is you want to get one that's actually for the face. And unfortunately, sometimes they're a bit more expensive. One of my favorite brands, La Roche Posay. This is a brand, a
Mhm.
European brand. They have a bunch of sunscreens that are very light. They're still the ones with the filters here approved by the FDA, but they make them light so that it's really as comfortable as you can get here for a U.S. sunscreen, essentially.
Mhm.
That's going to be much lighter and easier to apply in your skin than one that let's say is a sports sunscreen that you apply to your whole body. Nobody's going to want to, it's going to be hard and you're not going to want to put that on your face and keep it on your face all day. And so one simple thing is to really take the time, and really sometimes there's some cost added to that, uh, to get one that's specifically made for the face, that's lighter, that you feel is comfortable to apply. And I'll tell you that the chemical sunscreens are in general lighter than the physical sunblocks. When you go with the zinc oxide and
Yes.
titanium dioxide, those are going to feel heavier on your skin. And so if you want to go with a chemical one, then by all means go with that if that's going to be more comfortable for you and make you more apt to actually using it.
Mm. One of the things that I find really helpful personally is having almost a skincare station at the sink in my bathroom with my products that I'm going to be using every day, placed on it nicely as a little reminder in the same way that you see your toothbrush at night, rather than tucking it all away in a makeup bag and having it under the sink. So I'll just put that out there. That's really helped me in locking in my routine and helping to remember these products in the morning and in the evening. I have some Ask Me Anything questions from our
Sure.
audience. The first one is: does sunscreen for face and body expire differently? Do I have to replace both as frequently, or can I just replace my body sunscreen in the summer when it runs out or I inevitably lose it?
Yeah, really, you want to look at the expiration dates. And most products
Mhm.
are made to last at least a year from the time you open them. And some of them will even not even have a date on it, but you'll see there's like a little canister and there'll be a 12M on it. That's telling you that it will last 12 months after the time you open it. So
Mm.
the important thing is not necessarily to say, okay, are these going to last the same amount of time? It's going to be each product is different, but look at when you open it and what those expiration dates are. Um, a lot of people don't know that that 12M, means that's going to last 12 months, or it may be 10M or whatever. So just keep track of when you open it. You definitely don't want to be applying expired sunscreen to your face or to your body because it may expire and not be as effective, and you may end up getting burned.
Mm. Well, I certainly did not know that before today, that the 12M meant 12 months. So thank you for clarifying. The next question, I use a retinol typically every other night, and my facialist has advised me to wear sunscreen daily due to increased sun sensitivity. Do you recommend any specific sunscreens or ingredients when using retinol?
Not necessarily. I think there's so few filters available in the United States that it just is going to be which brand and which product you feel most comfortable on your skin. Like I said, they're separated into the chemical and the physical. They do have different characteristics, but really, whatever you feel is comfortable on your skin, whether you use retinol or not, the type of sunscreen is not necessarily going to match with the retinol better than or worse. And if let's say you're going to go on vacation, or let's say it's in the summer and hey, I'm going to take a staycation and be out at the beach for a week, then usually you want to stop
Mm.
your retinol about a week before that vacation to desensitize your face to the sun a little bit more.
Oh, amazing tip. The last question, I have a UV lamp I like to use in the winter months. Do I need to wear sunblock around the lamp?
Ooh, that's interesting. I mean, to my understanding, yes, you do want to, but the problem is yes, you will. If you're doing it, you want to try to get a little vitamin D from it, then the sunblock will block the vitamin D absorption. So in general, if you're doing something like that and you need it for your mood, for vitamin D, that type of thing, then you know, really use it in moderation. Sometimes, unfortunately, the argument against sunscreen a lot of times is you need your vitamin D. In which case,
Hmm.
then some doctors will say, well, then take a pill for vitamin D, take a supplement. And I'm not a big fan of that. I think with a lot of things, and sun in particular, moderation is important. I think it's therapeutic to get sun. I live in Detroit. God forbid, in the middle of the wintertime, we do go somewhere warm because and you get that sun on your skin and in your face, and it feels so
Yes.
good. So
Yes.
really, once again, you gotta take care of yourself. I don't think the sun itself. I mean, the sun itself, the UV rays are damaging to your skin, but at the same time, there is a therapeutic element to it as well. And so, really, do what you feel is healthiest for you. Protect your skin from getting a cancer. That's
Mm.
God forbid you want to avoid that. But if you need to get what you need to help your mood and to lift you during some difficult times, then take care of yourself.
Mm. Well, I think you've got us all covered when it comes to sunscreen. I feel like I learned so much in this very short amount of time with you. Thank you for sharing your expertise with us and leaving us all a little bit more informed about sunscreen.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Hey there, don't leave yet. Just wanted to say if you want to hear more about health and wellness, check out these episodes of Care Experts. Also, before you go, make sure you like and subscribe. New episodes drop every Wednesday.